Well,
Hi,
good morning,
guys.
folks. And the birds said hello too.
Yeah, they're very loud this
They're
morning.
pretty active this morning. Yeah. Some days they're quiet and some days they ain't. So anyway, hello, welcome.
I know we're a little
Can you
early.
can you slide the laptop that way just a hair?
Well, if I do, it'll mess up with where I have the picture frame.
Not really. There you go. Just like that. That's all I need.
Okay.
Okay. I we have two monitors, a big one and the laptop that we broadcast from. So
Hi, Josh.
oftentimes I look like I'm looking over here because I'm looking at this monitor. So I try to look at that one. So I'm looking at you.
And I always read over there and then look over here.
Yeah, but my eyes seem to wander over to this one, the bigger screen, so I can see Kate better.
Darling, you can see me even better if you just look at me.
That's true.
Hi, Grammy.
Hi, Grammy.
Good to see you.
And Joshua, welcome. I know we're a couple minutes early, but oh well. It's not like the clock runs our lives.
Not when you're retired, it doesn't. Thank goodness. Well, as you saw from when you came in, there's a little chill in the air this morning. Not a lot. It was down in the 50s today, but it's enough to get me wearing my sweater. So
It's not in the 50s. It's 76 out there right now. Yeah, it's 76. I just
boy,
checked
it's gone up
I
quickly.
checked the thermometer just as I was coming in.
And I got up
So
at 9:30 or 10 and it was in the 50s.
wow. Okay. Well, it's come up obviously.
Remember, I showed you the picture of when
Yeah.
Hi, Christy.
I don't
Good
think
to
that
see
said
you.
50.
And I'm
Hi,
glad
Christy.
you're listening. It's 70 there.
Yeah,
where you are.
don't be watching while you're driving, darling. Please don't do that. Don't be doing that. Yeah, it is supposed to get colder this week. Maybe it's time to start dragging out the long pants, but it's a nice feeling. This is my favorite time of the year here in
barefoot
Texas is whenever it does cool off. I mean, the winters are so mild here that, but I'm more comfortable when the temperature is down in the
70s. or below.
low, mid to low 70s and even the high 60s. I'm comfortable as can be. It can be 68 out there, and that's just perfect.
And I'm headed for boots and heavy winter jackets.
No kidding. Yeah, we couldn't be more different in terms of the kind of climate that we like. But
Fortunately,
we've found a way to compromise.
fortunately, there are blankets and sweaters and coats and socks and things like that, so I stay warm.
And I got to admit, the new air conditioning unit definitely keeps the house stable. It although the old system worked good until it crapped out, it did tend to keep the bedroom a lot cooler than the living room. So at night, when we'd go to bed, oftentimes it'd be a little chillier in there than it was in the living room.
Still
So
there.
that bothers Kate. And unfortunately, she has the side of the bed that's kind of right under the two vents that we've got in there. So she kind of gets the brunt of it.
But I have a blanket, I have a duvet, and I wear warm flannel jammies. So I pretty much stay warm. John Paul, hello.
I have a sheet and a duvet, and that's it. And most of the time I'm only half covered with that stuff. But
Now, most of the time, duvet's covering me. I know it's your second time. I'm glad you made it back. Welcome.
yeah, thanks for coming back. Good to see you. Tell you what, come 3 times, you're hooked, partner. You'll never go back. You come back and see us all the time. It's a rule. So
Hello,
anyway,
Ruth. Good to see you too.
weather-wise, things are changing. Been watching a lot of nature programs lately, and I'll tell you what, I'm kind of glad I'm on the downhill slide of my time on this vessel, because I have a
Big blue
feeling,
marble.
yeah, the next 50 to 100 years are going to be absolutely crucial to the survival of this planet. We've just about broken it. And God, I hope enough people get smart and stop doing it. But I've been reading about some very interesting inventions here lately. Apparently, and I don't recall where it was. I think it was up in Scotland, one of the schools up there where they got a lot of research staff. They've developed a bacteria that eats plastic. Now, but it's right now it's only a certain kind of plastic,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure that it's one that is just really really globally used. But anyway, they have found this natural. Well, it's a I guess maybe a hybrid bacteria. But anyway, it consumes and dissolves certain kinds of plastic. Well, that's wonderful.
Except if it goes crazy, because everything in our world now is made of plastic, and we'd all be wandering around with
There you go.
nothing to drive, nothing to wear, nothing to cook
Be
in.
the blob.
Yeah.
Just eat plastic.
Hi, Amy.
There's
Good
there's
to
a
see you.
new concept for a movie. You got a blob that eats plastic and it takes over the world.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Which is entirely possible.
As much as
some of that,
plastic is used nowadays.
well, some of that stuff gets away. I mean,
Mhm.
there's it's just like I've been reading lately a fair amount about COVID, and it's already showing signs of mutating. And
Right, Amy.
yeah, it does, Amy. It sounds like, oh, hi, Amy. Good to see you.
John Paul, they are very vocal today. Some days they're
Yeah,
quiet, but today
they're,
they're really being loud.
Bravo is hanging over there on the front of his cage, just staring at me. He wants to come out real bad.
They all three want out.
What do you want, Bravo? Yeah, I see you over there. I see you. Give me a high four. Give me a high four. No, not unless I let you out, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. Whenever Bravo is like something or he's happy or whatever, he gives you a high four. And of course, he's only got 4 toes, but he waves his foot at you, and that's one of his signs that he's enjoying whatever it is.
Right.
Oh, can
John
you see
Paul,
the birds?
If they keep up the noise, we'll have to bring them out. So you'll be able to see them, no problem. Well,
I'll tell
maybe
you,
I could bring Gandy for
If you want to bring Gandy out,
Yeah.
that he's
I'll
probably
get one of them.
all things considered, he's the easiest one to bring out because he'll literally really stick with Kate and doesn't cause too much trouble. Kareem and Bravo tend to try to run around a lot and go from shoulder to shoulder, and
Big guy.
they just get kind of. Gandy is more devoted to Kate, singularly self, actually. So he'll stay with her, and he'll be interesting to see. If you've not seen this bird, John, this
Paul.
is a John Paul. This is a hybrid macaw. It's called a Maui Sunrise. I can't tell you right now.
They turn around and say hi.
It's 4 different contributors, primarily blue and gold. But you can see he's got.
I was trying to get him to turn around so they could see his face.
What are you doing? But he came to us as a rescue while we were still in Woodville, outside of Tallahassee, Florida.
Good morning.
He can't fly. He was kept poorly when he was young and in a small cage where his wings never got to really extend out, so he never fledged.
Amy says, "Yay, it's a grand bird."
Yeah. But to her, he's a sweetheart. To me, he's a buzzsaw. He'll tear me up.
He thinks I'm his mate.
So he is,
Don't you, boy? Don't
from day one, from the time that he walked into our house,
you, Doc.
he has been Kate's bird, no doubt, haven't you? And it took her years to win him over to this point. We've now had him for what, 7 years?
We came here in 2012. So
2012. We got him in mid 2012. So almost 8 years. So it's taken her 8 years to get to this point from a bird that was about as antisocial as I've ever seen a bird this big.
And definitely confirmed biter.
Yeah. And, he was not that I can't say he was abused. He was just not cared for properly, which to me is the same thing as abuse. But he's a real sweetheart now.
You couldn't get me.
Yeah, he's you lose a lot in translation here. His colors just really pop. Yeah, him's a good boy. He's a good boy. Why don't you bring him up there a little closer so you can see it, especially his back. If you can see his back.
I don't know if I can because his tail gets in the way.
Yeah,
He keeps bumping
but,
everything.
His back feathers are just
Amy's
beautiful.
new work is getting put on right now.
Oh, cool. Outstanding. So the insurance thing's obviously kind of worked out in the end, huh?
I don't think there's enough.
Yeah, there's not enough
light.
contrast there to show it, but
All right.
he has
we'll
got,
put you back so I
he's
can
got-
one of the other boys.
just beautiful feathers. And the other two are both blue and golds, purebreds. Both of them also are in a way rescues. Bravo came to me in a real roundabout way through my old bird club over in Tallahassee. Apparently a couple was breaking up and they were selling the bird in the cage at a garage sale, and some members of the club drove by one day and they saw him there, tried to negotiate for him because they were big bird owners, but they didn't know what they could handle. The price was too high, so they declined. The next day they drive by and it's just the bird sitting on stand, and that's it. And someone had bought the cage but not the bird. So they went ahead and bought the bird, and it happened to be that day we were having a club meeting. They came to the meeting and walked in with Bravo and basically explained that they were looking to rehome him, and all they wanted back out of it was the $500 that they had paid for him at the garage sale. And I think I was the only one in the room that had big birds at that point. And literally as one, every head in the room turned, because I was up front, turned and looked at me because I was running the meeting from up front in the room, and they'd walked in the back. Talk about kind of like, all of a sudden you're the center of attention and everybody's looking at you for an answer. And unfortunately at that time, I didn't think we could afford it, so I had to decline. Later on, after the meeting's over, I see some people over here in the corner talking, and then they come walking across the room. They got the bird with them, and they come over and they gave him to me free of charge. One of our club members had paid these folks for the bird, and then they in turn gifted the bird to me. Well,
this is Kareem. This is our oldest.
Yeah, he came to me as a bird sitting job, and after 2 weeks, I decided he wasn't going back. Come here, you want to come see me? Oh my goodness, you mad at me? No. Oh, look at you.
Yes.
You're such a badass. You being such a badass. That's a macaw lunge, by the way.
Nice.
It's basically all bluff. Peekaboo.
Good boy.
Peekaboo bird. That's enough.
Take him.
Take him there. That's all he gets. He gets one bite, and he got
You're
it.
not supposed to do that to Daddy. I've talked
Yep.
to you about it. Ah! Whoa, you're in a bad mood.
Well, that wasn't a very good idea, was it?
No, that
Are
was
you
not
all
a
right?
lunge either. That was a bite.
Yeah. That's all she wrote for that little experiment for today. That's not normal, by the way. So don't get the feeling like that's not a big deal. Although I got to admit,
It's a big deal.
he normally is real nice to Kate. You need a Kleenex for the blood real quick?
Yeah, thank you.
You want to go get a Band-Aid or something? You're
That's
going
what
to
I'm
need
going to
something.
do. I'll be back in a minute,
All
folks.
right. Think about, you'll very seldom find a bird owner that doesn't have a lot of Band-Aids in the house.
Right.
Because if there's one thing you learn with big birds, and I've said this 1,000 times, from time to time you're going to bleed. That's all there is to it. And as I've gotten older, my skin's a lot easier to tear. And nowadays I can barely hold them. I mean, just from taking Creve on my arm, I've got a wound there, and then where he nailed me over here on the finger. I was just healed up too, damn it. Anyway, so actually, Kareem usually loves being on camera. He really does. He stares at himself on the screen. Oh, John Paul, don't feel bad. That's by no means that's not exactly a luck of the draw thing, but I'm kind of not surprised because, to be real honest with you, we did kind of rush in there and grab them and bring them back out here and, sit them down, and they like to take things slow and easy. So.
And I've got to tell you guys, I handle Bravo and Kareem at least 3 or 4 times every day.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for months, and this is the first time he's bitten me.
Yeah, see, how bad did he get you? Oh, my goodness. You see.
All the way through.
Oh.
Both sides.
Both sides? Oh,
Mhm.
shit.
His beak,
That looks like it.
met in the middle.
That could use some stitches. It looks like. Well,
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
anyway,
It's just going to bleed a little. It's all right.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not that terrible.
When we get ready to bandage it up, I'll be happy to help you with that, sweetheart. If you
I
need
will
it.
let you. It's going to bleed a bit.
You
but
may want to go rinse that a little bit.
yeah, probably so.
You know,
That
just to
always
be on the
hurts.
safe side. I know it hurts.
That hurts worse than the bite usually. Yeah.
Well, the good news is you're taking antibiotics right now.
Yeah.
So, another day in the life. There you go. That's what it's like around here. Ugh. Sorry about all that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kate's a trooper. Wow. Now, she'd had little birds when she was younger, but she'd never been around big old blue and gold macaws until she met me. And when she came over to see me in Woodville, when we started getting back together, she just walked right in, and here I had Kareem Bravo. During the breakup of my previous marriage, my ex-wife got all the stuff. I got the critters. I had a dog and cat and 2 birds. So I got those, and Kate walked right in like she'd been living there for years and just blended right in with the birds, which was just amazing. Amazing. Okay. Happy, yeah, I know you're getting some snow there. That's, oh, yeah. We won't be getting snow here, but I feel for you, partner.
Okay, I'm back.
I'm sorry that happened to you, sweetheart.
Yeah. If you're going to own big birds, you're going to bleed. I own 3, I'm going to bleed. It's really not a big deal, guys. It'll bleed a little bit, and I'll put a Band-Aid on it. In a couple of days, it'll be well. Hi, Happy. Hi, Dee. Lots of folks have come in since I've been playing.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, Dee, he does love seeing himself on camera.
Yeah, I was explaining that about how he just likes to see himself on the monitor.
Yeah, he really does.
I think that was just a little too much.
Just a little too quick.
And the fact that he is pissed at me.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no understanding as to the why of that. I mean, I could go in there later on today and pick him up, and he'd be real lovable. He's just a moody. He's the one that I've always called from day one, my old curmudgeon. Mm-hmm. He's just a cranky old bird.
Now, Bravo still would like to come out. You want me to go bring him in? I don't mind, and you don't have to take him.
He's got his claws are real sharp right now, you know.
Yeah, but I'll get a sweater on.
All right, if you want to give it a try.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Now, Bravo, he's a tank. This is a big bird. Weight-wise, he's the largest. He's the heaviest.
Hey, Bravo.
He's got the biggest chest. He's just a gorgeous bird. And his feather condition is basically perfect. So he's a gorgeous bird to look at.
Yeah, let's go see Bravo.
Oh, look at that Bravo guy.
Good boy.
Now here's a good bird. Here's a good bird. You want to come?
This one is good to David.
Yeah.
He's David's baby, but he is as likely to bite me as he is to not. Yeah, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know. He's a pretty good guy, aren't you, Bravo? Do you want to come and see me?
He's got those sharp claws.
I'm just going to put him on my hand. I'm not going to let him get any higher than that. There you go. Look at you. Look at my big Bravo. Let's show him your wing. Show him this wing right there. Oh, that big wing. Look at that big wing. Look at that big wing. Big wings. Do it there. Show me your wings. There you go. Look at those
what
wings.
A beautiful boy.
What a big boy. Look at you looking at yourself, too. You like that, too, don't you?
Guys, don't worry. These birds, for the
go.
most part, are very sweet and loving. Once in a while, they, like every 3-year-old, once in a while they have a temper tantrum. That's all that was.
Yeah, that's no
I'll
big
go
deal.
pick him up later on today, and he'll love on me and put his head against my chest and cuddle. I can put my finger in his mouth, and he won't do anything. This was just a temper
This is a
tantrum.
normal day. This is I mean, it wasn't, but just a few months ago, through a moment of inattention, Kareem nailed me and literally severed one of the veins on the back of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bleeding like a stuck pig. That's just the way things go. I mean, but he literally, he just cut right into the vein, and it was gushing pretty good. But that's the price you pay, and that's one of the things that I used to always tell people when I was doing outreach. Oh, I'd like to have a bird like that. He's beautiful. And I said, okay, here it is. Rule number one: with big birds like this, from time to time, you're going to bleed. And they kind of pulled back and I said, that's the best truth I can give you. They're big. Those beaks are incredibly strong.
They will bite.
You'll never, oftentimes, it'll be your fault, but you won't know why. They will bite. And 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's my own fault when I get bitten because I'm not reading the bird right. So
Happy. The chill here today, this morning when I got up, within the 50s, but it's back in the 70s today. So
yeah, it's nice now. It's gorgeous out there right now. It's 70. When I came in to sit down at 1 o'clock, it was 76. See, I have these beautiful, wonderful weather stations. Yes, I do.
I bought him for, what was it, Christmas the first
Oh,
one?
I don't remember when you got it for me, but it's.
I bought him an indoor-outdoor weather station.
I love having the ability to know what the temperature and the relative humidity is. I've got one that tells me the phases of the moon, and I've got barometric pressure, which was 30.01 when I came in here. And
Bravo.
so I love having a weather station. I'd like to have one that tells me wind speed and all that, but those things are expensive and a lot of trouble to set up. So I'm good with what I got, but I like it. Yeah. Amy, I'm so glad to hear that you're getting your roof done. That is so wonderful. That is wonderful.
That's pretty exciting.
And again, Amy, yeah, some of us are a little moody some
Every
days.
dehydrated
Yeah.
cheese. D, I have not. I've thought about doing it several times. I have canned cheese.
Wait a minute, isn't that what cheese is?
What?
Is dehydrated milk?
No, it's curdled milk.
Well, it's
not
dried. It's
dehydrated.
dried out too, so it's dehydrated at
Yeah,
some point.
well, okay.
14 degrees, Happy. Oh my gosh. Oh.
The
Boy, I
balmy
used to
38 with a wind chill of 27.
I used to get some weather like that in Nebraska, and it was a real shocker. You go
Yep.
from 68 one day, and it goes down to 9 degrees the next morning. Yep.
Yeah, D, cheese and butter. I've done both. I know we're not supposed to say you can, but I do. The cheese is a little harder. It takes more time and effort than the butter. Did you get scratched?
No. I just noticed I had a bruise
No,
right
just
there.
a bruise. Okay.
I have no idea where that came from, though.
I got a lot of those.
What you doing there, big boy? What's trying to play with, huh? What's trying to play
Oh
with?
boy. Oh boy, we got
There you
something
go.
to tear up. They love doing this.
Yeah, you want to tear that up? Mm-hmm.
Hi, Julie. Good to see you. Oh my goodness, Julie says it's 24 degrees in Idaho. I'm glad I'm in South Texas. It's
Yeah, okay.
76.
Idaho might be great, but I'm glad I'm not there right now.
D, one of the very best I've ever seen, well, two of the very best I've ever seen for canning cheese is Cat's Cradle, KATZKRADLE, and
You haven't put with that.
I want to say Texas Prepper, no, Bear Prepper, BEXAR, Bear Prepper. Both of those are really excellent.
Bear, like in Bear County?
Mm-hmm. She
You
used to
better
live in
spell
Bear
that.
County.
Oh, okay, all right.
I did spell it.
Okay, but
They're like Bear County.
as you ain't from Texas, you don't know how to spell bear.
Right? And it's not BEAR or BARE. Oh, goodness.
All right. You got enough of that?
Yeah, those two are the very best I know at canning butter and cheese. Are those cheeses or peppers? Those are preppers. Those are the two that I know of that do the best videos on how to can butter and how to can cheese. So, and also Bear Prepper does waxing cheese. So if you want to do waxing as well.
24 degrees up there in Idaho.
Sounds cold to me.
My son's down in Oregon. I wonder if it's cold down there right now. It's snapped
Yeah,
down
honey.
there too.
Oregon is up from us. Can't be cold down there. It has to be cold up there. They're up from us.
Okay, well, over there, out there.
There you go.
Very out there. Well, I was thinking about down there from Idaho. Oregon is down there from Idaho.
True.
So I was right.
Yes, dear. I say that a lot.
Actually, that brings up something I need to discuss.
Uh-oh.
Last Sunday, I inadvertently offended Kate by making jokes about there not being any flat surfaces in our home that weren't cluttered up with stuff. Okay. I was doing it totally in fun, but I found out later, next day, that it did hurt Kate's feelings that I was being more or less critical. And I wish, and I apologized to her then, but I wanted to let you all know too that I had, if you noticed any snideness or anything that could have been mean-spirited on my part when I was saying that, please understand I did not mean anything critical. I really didn't.
We talked about that.
I know.
I told you that.
But these are the people.
Super sensitive about
these
that.
are the people that I did it in front of.
Okay.
So I kind of felt that I wanted to bring it up to them and let them know that I do apologize for that. I wouldn't say anything like that to you for love or money, darling.
Yeah.
So anyway, there, now I got that off my chest. I feel better.
Good. I'm glad.
Which brings me to my second announcement.
Oh.
I was reading today. I once wrote an article a long time ago
True. Happy.
on how to say thank you because it's becoming a dying art form. And today, I get a thing called Science Alert every day that's just kind of got general interest science sport news in it. And now, granted, sometimes I look at these and I say, they spent money for that?
You'll be putting him back.
No, he's all right. He's doing good. Anyway, this study was to determine gratitude and how it's expressed and how it's received. And what they found out, in a nutshell, was that when you say thank you and express gratitude for someone doing something for you, if you are in a relationship with that person, it improves what they would call the love portion of that relationship. But how you do it is also important.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they say that you do it is, I'm very grateful that you brought me to work yesterday morning. Okay, and might elaborate on that. However, if you turn it around and say, even though you're saying you're grateful, saying something like, I know how much it inconvenienced you yesterday to take me to work. Thank you. That is more of a negative impact on the partner or the receiver of that information. So the pivotal part of it is to be positive and specific about what you're being thankful for and not put it into a context where you acknowledge the inconvenience or the effort or anything else. Just saying, thank you for doing it for me. I appreciate it. That's the key right there. And that makes it a better way to say thank you. Rather than saying, I know it was a hassle for you to help me out and I appreciate it. That's not as effective.
How would it be if you said something like, I love the way you show your love for me when you do things like that?
That's
would
great.
be positive.
The other way you'd say, I see how much effort it takes for you to show how much you love me. Now, I kind of said the same thing, didn't I?
Yeah.
But I said it a whole lot different.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, anyway, that's my sociological analysis of America for today.
By the way, for those of you that are just finding this out, there's not a thing in the world that David and I cannot talk to each other about. And if there is something going on that bothers one or the other of us, we do try and talk it out and solve the problems.
I've never been in a relationship like this before, and it is truly remarkable because it is, and I'd have to tell you my whole life story to really have you understand this, but bottom line is my life with Kate, I'm a different guy than I was before I knew her. A completely different man. I mean, from the inside out. My whole way of thinking, my whole ways of feeling, the ways that I express myself, everything about me has been bettered by Kate. And I am ever so grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah. What? What
I
you
think he's
doing?
wanting to go somewhere.
He wants to come down and see himself on the screen.
Probably.
But I can't let him down on my arm or he'll tear me up. Up there he's fine. His claws don't hurt.
He said I made you a better person.
Undoubtedly. That's exactly right, Dee. She has made me a better person.
No, actually, what I did was I encouraged you to want to be a better person. I couldn't have made you anything. You had to make yourself. But I encouraged you by the way I treated you. I don't
Well,
think anybody
I
can make someone change.
I don't know. I'd have to debate that maybe with you a little bit, but I'll accept what you say for sure.
Okay.
But the fact is, I am a different man.
Yes, you are.
Okay, Josh is saying his family's house isn't all daisies and roses. Kitchen's a wreck because canning and dehydrating and freezing. Well, there's times and places that all that chaos then turns into order, and you've got some really good results from it too. So, Christy, our relationship between Kate and I is, number one, unlike anything I've ever known. I'll have to go look that song up, D. Collier. It's a Better Man, huh? Do you happen to know who sings it? I'll go look that one up. But it's true. I mean, she's been such a positive influence on me over the last 10, 15 years.
Thank you, Dee.
Okay, so let's see what else
the
we got.
reason I'm sensitive about that is because when I grew up, my mother was one of these hyper moms, and she was so bad about keeping things clean. My dad was a smoker, and he would sit down in the living room after work and have a cigarette. There would be 2 or maybe 3 flicks of ashes, and she'd take it and clean it and bring it back to him. She worked herself into a hospital stay once because she had 4 children under 10, and she was keeping everything spotless like that. And she had a breakdown and had to go to the hospital. So she raised us to be that way, and I'm sorry, but there are more important things in my life than cleaning. And I've always felt that way, and it was always a bone of contention between the two of us because I was not the spotless housekeeper that she wanted me to be, and I'm still not. But I carry old tapes that tell me I should be. And so I'm a little sensitive about that.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah. Dave's been in their house, he knows, and she's 91 now, so she does not clean like she used to. She's not capable of cleaning like she used to. But even at that, she wants to. She rushes around trying to for her little 91-year-old body to do it, but that's just tapes I carry that I need to learn to deal with. One day I will.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. I don't have any trouble. It's like I tried to tell her. I said she has to look at how I was raised. My father had 3 of everything, and we lived in what could best be called a very eclectic semi-junkyard environment. I can't even begin to describe it, but my dad if you've ever watched Alaska: The Last Frontier, the Kilchers, how they just accumulate stuff over the years, that was my dad. When I was growing up, we had 13 Model A's and a Model T sitting around this decrepit place that we live.
In various
and
stages of repair.
At least 3 of them were usually running. So, so I was raised in a world of chaos. But my area, I tried to keep kind of clean. So I bring that with me into my environment, is that if I were here alone, the place would be considerably cleaner. But
Oh, yeah.
there's also the added burden that we have acquired all the worldly possessions of two of Kate's sisters. We were the only ones that had a place big enough for all that stuff to come to. So, and we've got
And they passed
on
it
that
came to
wall
me.
over there, there's an
Hi,
organ.
Celtic.
There's an organ and a piano, neither one of which belong to us. We're holding those. You need to put him back now. He's
Come on,
got me.
big guy.
Thank you.
Come on.
And he got me pretty good.
Good boy. Mwah.
Brother-in-law lives up front here, and
Good guy. You ready to go back on your cage?
anyway, we're storing a little studio piano and a little studio organ for them. So neither one of us play, so it just sits over there. But it takes up space, and well, not something like I can't live with it. Anyway,
Let's see if we can keep you
Celtic. Hello, Mr. Bear. Hello, Celtic. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Did you make it?
Yep.
Excuse me, I was directing traffic there.
There you go.
There you go, big guy. So,
We'll see if Gandhi will stay over there and be quiet. He may not. Hi, Roberta.
and Celtic Bear dropped in
I
too.
already saw him and said hi. Gonna shovel snow out of your driveway. Stay warm, Roberta.
Yep. I remember those days well. I remember those days well.
By the way, I want to say thank you to everyone who last week made donations through PayPal me. That was a complete surprise. I was taken aback. You are all so generous, and I thank you very much for that. Now, if we can just get,
She's just got to figure out how to cash it out.
yeah, I was going to say, now we just have to get PayPal to come back to work so I can call and talk with someone about how to get it from them to me.
Yeah, Celtic, our weather here is pretty nice today too. It's 76 out there right now and kind of semi-sunny. I'd say it's somewhat overcast, but it's quite nice. So
Does that mean it's fair to partly cloudy?
it's fair to Midland. Yep, fair to Midland. Which another bit of absolutely useless trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what fair to Midland actually means?
Mm-mm.
It's a grade of cotton.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I'll be darned.
Back in the day, whenever they were grading out cotton, there was a grade called fair to Midland good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Josh,
that's your useless information for the day, folks.
Josh, you're right. It should go directly to my debit card, but I asked them not to because I have a cash card coming from them, and I want the money to go there so that when I need something for the channel, I can use that one specifically for the channel and keep the funds separate. And apparently, there's something I'm not doing right, and I called and talked to the people at PayPal Credit, and she didn't know anything about the other side of the house. So,
You want me to help you with that?
yes, thank you. Keeping the Kleenex tied around it tight is beginning to cut off circulation in my finger. So anyway, I have to wait until they get over their COVID fears, and then they should be able to tell me what to do. Because I don't want to mix the funds. I want to use the funds that you all are so kind and generous to give me for making the channel better for you guys.
Ready?
Yep. And then you have to get it across both sides.
Excuse me.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll let you
Thank you.
pat it down,
Yeah.
whatever
That's
degree
better.
of discomfort you get.
Actually, oddly enough, it does not hurt at all.
Dr. Dave strikes again.
Yeah, it hurt when he did it,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
after he did it, it doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, getting bit
Hi,
sucks.
Iris.
Getting bit sucks, but oddly enough, after you've been bitten,
It's not a big deal.
they're usually not all that painful.
It'll probably be sore a little tomorrow because it's
Oh,
right
yeah.
on
It's
the,
right
the
on the
knuckle.
joint, yeah.
Right on the joint.
Being right in that joint, and that's going to take a while to heal up. You're going to need a Band-Aid on that for several days.
I'm
probably.
sure. I'm sure. And I'll have to wear my lovely gloves when I wash dishes and things
Yeah,
like that.
yep.
No big deal. Not the first time, probably won't be the last.
Okay, let's see. Cool and rainy. We're in
Hang on a
Tennessee.
Sorry, I had to run over and get this link. There you go, Josh.
They're just,
Hmm?
I understand commerce and all that, but
Mhm.
having people pay you to sit here and
Well, they're
talk
not
to them on
really.
a computer screen, it strikes me as a very odd medium
They're
of
not
exchange.
really paying us to do that. They're donating towards
I-
video stuff they want to see.
True.
And I just got to get busy and make better video. Which reminds me, for dinner tonight, if I can figure out how to do it, we're going to have corned beef and cabbage from the Instant Pot, and I will be videotaping it.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
Kitten scratches are much worse, Celtic.
Yeah, they are.
Kitten
Cat scratches.
hurt a lot.
Yep, cat scratches are a booger.
I've had many, many kittens, and they're not fun. I mean, the kittens are fun. The scratches are not.
Oh, let's see. What else been going on this week?
I don't know. I don't really think much
Not
of
much. Been
anything.
a pretty quiet week, actually.
Yeah. My brother-in-law and roommate live at the front of the property that we're on. And his roommate came down this week and asked me when I wanted him to come over and help get the plants into a sheltered area because it's supposed to be going down in the 30s by Wednesday?
Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday. So
Tuesday night. So yeah, Wednesday.
So we're going to do that Monday. I've got a lot of plants in really, really big pots. They're 30-gallon pots or
They're
bigger.
unmovable without help. Put
Right.
it that way. Yeah, they check on us now and then and try to keep track of us. It's real nice to have them there because
Yeah.
I don't want to turn to them for every little.
And they're only 10 years
Sure.
younger than we are. So,
But David especially, he's still Ron not so much, but David's still got some
oh my goodness.
spry in his step. Warmed up to 38, huh?
Feels like a heat wave.
Yeah.
Brr.
I know that feeling, Julie. I certainly do. Spent 15 years in Omaha, Nebraska, so I know what cold weather's like.
I spent 18 months in Omaha, Nebraska, and that was not quite enough for me, but it wasn't long enough that I got tired of the cold weather either. I've spent
Yeah, you got to just see a smidgen of everything, not a whole lot of it.
Well, I don't know. That winter there was an awful lot of ice and
Well, yeah, but
that kind of stuff, but it
it
wasn't
like you had to break into your car with a screwdriver.
no. And by the way, they now say that a better way to get ice off of your locks if you get frozen out like that is to put hand sanitizer on it. Apparently, the alcohol in the
Yeah.
hand sanitizer melts the snow.
Yeah.
Now, I was locked out of my car in Austin, Texas when I lived there. We had a freak cold front, actually had snow that stuck on the ground,
Huh.
and it came through while I was at work, and they released us early to go home because they knew what the traffic would be like. Texans, at least in this part of Texas, have no idea how to drive in snow or bad weather, period. But I went to get in the car, and the thing was iced over. That whole side of the car was nothing but a sheet of ice.
Hmm.
happened to have a hatchback, so I went around to the back and opened the back and crawled through.
Good
But-
thinking.
I mean, you do what you got to do to get there.
And when you got into the driver's seat, did you shoulder the door open?
No, I just went ahead and drove home, and by the time I drove home, the wind friction had melted most of the ice, so it came open with no problem. I figured if I got home and it was still frozen, I'd just crawl back out the way I crawled in. Remember the blizzard of 78, 3 days off of school in Vermont. Yep. Well, I don't think we had 48 hours of below freezing temperature that time, and that was a freak cold front because it normally doesn't get cold.
Not in Austin.
But
Not like that.
right.
I went through several blizzards up in Nebraska, and there was the ones that are the worst. Though, is, you walk out after you've been at work all day.
Hi, good to see you.
You got to break into your car, and then you get in and you turn the key, and it's everything is just frozen up. 'Cause we needed plug-ins on our cars a lot of times here in Nebraska. Luckily, I never failed to get one started.
I was amazed the first time I went to visit my daughter who lives in the St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Hi, Bandana.
We went to the mall, and there was all these little poles sticking up out of the ground all over the parking lot.
You didn't know what they were.
I was looking at them. I was thinking it can't be the speakers like in the old drive-ins because there's no speakers hanging on it. And I'm looking at it and trying to figure it out. Finally, I gave up and I said, Lynn, what is that? Why do you have poles sticking up out of the ground? She said, to plug our cars in. I said, but you don't have an electric car. She said, no, Mom, everybody has to plug their cars in the winter because it gets so cold, they'll freeze. Strangest thing I'd
Yep.
ever heard of.
Yep.
I had no idea you had to plug in your car if it wasn't electric.
Yeah, that oil gets pretty sludgy when it gets down to 0 degrees.
And she took me around front and opened up the thing and showed me. So
Celtic, yeah, if, whenever we did get pinned down one time for 3 days at the house. I mean, it was just impassable there in Omaha. And I think we picked up something like almost 4 feet of snow in 48 hours, and it just crippled everybody. So it was luckily I had my snow blower and a couple of reasonably healthy kids. So we at least could get out to, where I lived on a little circle, sort of little
you
cul-de-sac.
went car skating, didn't you?
And the snow plow, when they'd come through, would literally throw everything up right into our sidewalk and driveway. So, because as they came in and made the circle, everything just kind of shoved off to the side. So I used to hate to have the snow plows come through because it made 10 times more work for me. But anyway, luckily I did invest in a snow plow. That was worth it. Snow blower, rather, not a snow plow, snow blower.
Susie, how long did you live in Gloucester? My parents grew up in the Boston area. My mother lived in Rockland for most of her life. And Julie, I always do my corned beef in a pressure cooker. I've just never done it in the Instant Pot. So this will be new.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. I
just
do like corned beef, though, so I hope it comes out good.
Iris locked herself out of the house. You put the window AC, pull the window AC out and stood
Yeah, I'll tell you,
through the window.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the colder it is outside, the more necessity you got under your butt, don't you?
That's true.
I'm being moved by necessity.
I used to lock myself out of my truck all the time. I had a small Toyota pickup, and I would lock myself out of it. I'd have both kids in the car, and I'd get out to go do something with them and leave my keys in the car. In the truck. I'd lock it, but I'd leave it in there. So when I bought the new truck, I bought one of those with the back windows that open, because I discovered that you could go up there and press in and do this, and the windows were open, and I could crawl in and get my keys. Oh, okay.
Don't infer anything from this, but you must have been a lot smaller then.
Actually, I was.
Or were they okay?
I was much smaller then. I only weighed about 118 back then.
Oh, okay.
Which is only 40 pounds less than I weigh now. Susie was 4 years in Gloucester. I've been to Gloucester once. When we went, as children, we went up took a family vacation. We took 2 family vacations when I was a kid. One, we went to Boston and the Boston area to meet my grandparents that still lived in Rockland at the time, and spent 2 weeks up there and got to see all the things that my folks remembered. And my maiden name is Pratt, and there is still a pew in the North Church for the Pratt family. So we can trace our family back through the Mayflower into Scotland in the 15th century. So but I'll tell you something about
Me
my
too.
family.
We came over on the same boat that brought William Penn. So whichever one that was.
Anyway, so we did a tour of a lot of the outlying small towns as well. My grandfather was thrilled to be able to show off everything to his out-of-state grandchildren. And then the other one we took was we went to Los Angeles to visit my dad's only brother and his wife and family. Dad spent time growing up in the Boston area and in, of all places, Seattle or Bothell. So he was on both coasts when he was growing up, but Mom spent all of her time in Rockland. So we had all kinds of neat things to see when we went both places. I don't think I'll ever forget.
Winthrop Fleet, 1635, Boston area. That's a long time ago.
My grandfather asked if we wanted to go for ice cream because this was in the summertime. And we thought, yeah, that's cool. So we all piled in the car and went for ice cream. And I noticed as we were driving, and it was about maybe 10 minutes to get to where we were going, we went in and out of 4 or 5 little cities. And each one of them had their city signs, entering this city, entering that city, and the population. Well, I had spent all my time up to that point in Corpus and San Antonio, and you could drive for 45 minutes and not get out of San Antonio. I was just amazed going through all these towns. I finally asked my grandfather, where are we going for ice cream? Are we going to another state?
Yeah, those little bitty towns.
Yep.
Bandana's oldest son still lives around Cape Ann up there.
Cool.
It's like there's a lot of history in the back east from these folks. Not me.
I have a great aunt who had a restaurant on Hyannis, right outside the Kennedy compound. And my dad grew up with the Kennedy boys. When he was in that part of the country, he was friends with them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Best I can tell you is I know there was a Howell that was established as a fairly successful merchant type, I guess, in New Jersey, which I guess is kind of where they settled when they came over with William Penn. So that's kind of where my family line starts out in this country, is in New Jersey, but I think they very quickly went west.
Ice cream flavored black raspberry.
That sounds pretty good. Black raspberry with chocolate chips.
I'll tell you what, I'll take the chocolate chips. He can have the black raspberry. I don't care for raspberries at all.
I would take the black raspberry for sure. I'd love. That'd be good in ice cream. Yeah.
And you guys can enjoy it. I don't care for ice cream at all. It always upsets my stomach. Let's see, Julie says in Chicago I used heated dipstick. Always that in my car for an easy jumper toe. Had the largest Toro blower, 149-foot driveway, and 20 feet for the roof. Wow. I guess you don't miss that, Julie.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a challenge.
Well, the closest I ever got to shoveling snow was when I lived in Nebraska. There was some snow on a back porch rail, and I got out there with a spoon and shoveled it. I am not a snow baby, not at all. But then again, most people who do well in that don't do well in 100 degrees, and it doesn't really bother me to be in that kind of heat.
Does mean that's the dichotomy. I love Texas, but I don't do heat well at all. I really don't.
And I love Nebraska, but I don't do cold well.
Yep.
So thank goodness we have central heat and air.
I'll tell you what. To me, they talk about what's the greatest inventions of all time. Well, yeah,
AC.
Obviously the technology ones are, cell phones and crap. But I'll tell you what made the world livable was air conditioning.
especially in
And
South Texas and
especially
Florida.
in the South altogether.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you go down Louisiana and
Take care,
Florida,
Josh.
all around in there. So
True.
it's
That's true. From Southern California all the way over to Florida.
Yep.
That whole area.
Yep. And not just here. I mean, although they don't use air conditioning as nearly as much in the rest of the world, but we've gotten kind of spoiled. But I'll tell you what, I mean, there wouldn't be all these big malls if it wasn't for air conditioning. And,
That's true. It would be
multiplex movie theaters and things would all be outdoor and, natural ventilation and all that stuff.
We had shopping centers when I was a kid because AC was not as
Yeah.
prevalent. And every store had front doors and back doors and windows that opened.
Yep.
Giggling at Charleston, we had ice cream.
Shut down the whole city. I'm not surprised. Yeah. It's amazing. People that do not know how to drive in ice and snow, whenever they first encounter it, it's comical. It is just, I mean, hopefully nobody gets hurt and there's no damage, but it is comical. You got to admit. Took me a long time to learn how to drive on ice.
I was amazed at how similar driving on snow and ice and driving on the water, running water is.
Well,
It's slipperier on ice, true, but you have to use a lot of the same skills on either one.
the things I learned when I was driving my 1931 Model A through the deserts of
Right.
Central Arizona when I was a kid. I started driving when I was 10, by the way. And I had my own car. That 31
Yeah,
Model
I had
A was
blocks
given
on
to me.
Yeah,
There
they
were
block
wooden
them.
blocks on the accelerator and clutch and brake and everything. And my dad taught me. And I mean, this was just a 3-speed, no synchromesh, no nothing. 40
And without the
horsepower,
desert.
40 horsepower engine, 21-inch wheels. But I could make that puppy sing and dance. And and that's where I learned a lot of driving techniques, was out in the deserts of Arizona, which in that sand out there actually ends up being kind of similar to driving on ice in some respects. But I wasn't totally taken aback by driving on ice the first time I got on it.
I tell you what scared me to pieces as far as ice driving goes is the first time he took me car skating.
Needed to teach her how to drive on ice, so we went out to a big old Circle K parking lot that was deserted real late at night, and there'd been an ice storm, and there was an inch or two of ice on everything.
And lots of lighting.
And but light poles too, so that take that into consideration. So I took her out there and kind of demonstrated for her what it was like to drive on ice and how hard it was to get traction and direction. I mean, just primer. And then I put her in the driver's seat. I was in an Eagle Talon, all-wheel drive, very rugged little car. It would drove very nicely on ice because of
Wonderful.
that all-wheel drive. So set her loose with that on that Circle K parking lot. She had a blast.
I did.
She
once
couldn't
I
stop
realized.
laughing.
But he showed me how by doing it. And I was not sure I was liking it at first.
You get up to about 30 miles an hour and crimp the wheels and you just go spinning like that. It's a little disconcerting if you're not expecting it, I guess.
Exactly. Susie, I will watch when I'm home. Mondays have become kind of busy for me, but I will watch, and if I see you, I definitely will be there. Someone asked what part of Arizona. There we go. Celtic there was asking what part of Arizona.
A little town. When I was doing this, it was just
Hi,
outside of
Susanna.
Chandler, Arizona, right there in the middle by Williams Air Force Base. My dad was stationed there for several years, and there was a tiny little town there called Higley, and that's where I went through, I don't know, about 5 years of school and a couple of years of high school. So, and then moved back down to San Antonio for my junior year in high school, and then right back to Coolidge for my senior year in high school. So it was.
Celtic lived in the Buckeye area.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah,
Sean?
Buckeye's kind of nice country up there.
I imagine
Nice
you get a
country.
lot of both. And hello, by the way. I didn't see you come in earlier.
Where's Sean? Oh, Sean and
Sean
Lester.
and Alaska, yeah.
I do too, Sean. Snow is a lot more predictable than straight up ice. That's for sure. Unless you got studded tires.
Julie, you say you love Texas except the humidity, but where we are right now, San Antonio really doesn't have a lot of humidity.
It's not as bad as I remember it when I was a kid. I mean, I remember when I was 17, it was miserable. But it doesn't seem that bad nowadays. Maybe because I'm indoors all the time.
That would have something to do with it, yeah.
That might have something to do with it.
Used to love the ice and doing flat spins in the school parking lot. I think I would love it if I had skates.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Julie. That's exactly what I was kind of showing her how to do, is just flat spins and just how to recover from when you start sliding in one area or one direction versus the other. No, she did good. She did good.
Well, I had driven a lot in
Sand and mud and water. Yeah. But there's a big difference between hydroplaning and driving on ice.
Yes, there is. But the techniques to deal with them are similar.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. That's very true.
As a matter of fact, I learned to drive in an F-150 pickup in the dark, in the rain. That's how I learned to drive.
What was that, one lesson?
That was my first lesson.
Oh, okay.
So it lasted 2.5 hours.
Okay.
By the time I was finished, I felt like I knew how to drive.
At night in an F-150.
In the rain.
In the rain. That was it.
Yeah.
Change
Once I
any
got in the daytime and
change
dry,
any
it
of
was
those
easy.
change any of those parameters and you're right back to square one.
Celtic Charleston has low humidity now.
Yeah, Charleston gets a lot of nice. I mean, granted it's coastal, but it gets a lot of nice, I think, outward breezes. That probably come down and keep the place fairly dry. Charleston's got, if I remember right, real nice, kind of year-round temperatures.
Well, I
Nice
spent a lot
climate.
of years in Corpus, and there was lots of humidity.
Oh
there.
yeah, Corpus.
Of course, it's right on the water, and the prevailing wind is across the water and into land. So,
Yep.
are you being noisy?
What you talking about over there, Mr. Gandy? Huh? Mr. Gandy, I see you over there tilting that head over.
He's
Looking at me upside
down.
He literally takes his head and just turns it upside down and looks at you. You silly
Or
bird.
if he's trying to flirt with me, he puts his beak, top of his beak, along the top of the cage and slides it and looks up at me sideways.
Flirting with you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
he
it.
does. He does
Come
do
get me,
that.
Mom.
He
Come
does do
get
that. He definitely flirts with you,
Yep.
don't you? Huh? Yeah, you'll start bobbing your head.
And he likes to dance.
Yep, he likes to dance. Danny Bird.
I can't imagine what my life was like before having these birds. Welcome back, Josh. Average winter temperatures is 30s to 20.
20, and then warms up to 60s.
That's not too bad. As
I could live with that.
long as you stay inside while it's dark.
Yep, I could live with that.
Well, I wonder.
But what I got here is okay too. So what you wonder what?
I wonder if Amy's roof is done because she disappeared. 'Cause
She didn't
thought
come
she
back,
heard them,
yeah.
and she hasn't been back yet. So
Well, one would hope.
yeah, either that
One
or
would
they've run
hope.
into something and she's supervising.
Yeah. That seems like they've gotten the work going on that pretty quickly.
Yes, they
But
did. Yes, they did.
now that you were saying there's another hurricane setting up in the Gulf right now.
Yep. They think that I forget what they were going to call that. Not Delta, but whatever.
Going to be Echo probably.
Okay.
Echo
Julie,
or Foxtrot.
I think it depends on what you consider low humidity. It never gets into the single digits here, but I have seen it as low as 20.
Now, when I was a kid living in Arizona, there were times there where
Take care,
the
Kelvin.
humidity would be in single digits. Nowadays, that's just not the case because they've
Too many
literally
visitors.
saturated the Valley of the Sun between all the water catchments and the fact that they use these vaporizers, these real tiny little mist sprayers,
And
as a
swimming
means of
pool.
cooling everything, and swimming pools. And it has raised the relative humidity of the entire Valley of the Sun in Arizona where I was raised. And now it's been a long time since I was there. But the last time I was there, it was noticeably humid, and that was new. That was a new experience for me in Arizona.
When we went was for your mom's
Celtic,
funeral,
you
right?
take care. Yeah, actually, it was a long time ago. Celtic, you take care. Get that battery charged.
And charge up the phone, too.
Can't have a dead battery in today's world. That's a bad thing. Okay, so what time is it?
It's 2:00,
2
straight
o'clock.
up.
Oh, 2 o'clock, straight up.
Mhm.
About that time, almost.
Yep, sure is. I don't know, Julie. Like I said, it depends on.
Can I take a short nap?
Yeah, you could just go right ahead and take
Okay,
a
you
little
wake me
nap,
up when you
darling.
sign off, okay?
Okay, that means you'll be here a while. Aw.
You thought I was kidding.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I really did. I didn't figure you'd stay there because you'd fall forward.
Well, I'd probably crack my nose, though, so.
Or the table. Hey, I've cracked cement sidewalks.
That's
with my
true. You
chin,
have. That's
so-
true. You have. This woman can bust concrete with her bones.
With my chin.
But I got to admit, the pictures of her chin weren't very attractive, though.
There
was
was
a-
mess them up.
There was a price to be paid for that. That's for damn sure.
Well, it wasn't like I did it on purpose.
No.
And I'm so glad my friend didn't make me pay to have the sidewalk repaired. I think
think
he felt
that
so
oughta-
bad because I fell.
I'd have turned around and sued for negligence to make me trip.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything. It was my own.
That doesn't make any
My lack
difference. It's
of-
still, there was a wrinkle in the concrete. You tripped over it, so it was a construction fault and his responsibility.
No, he was taking care of me when I was going through my cancer battle. I wasn't about to do something like
I
that.
know that, but anyway, so I don't think I have any golf today until at least 3, maybe even
Wow.
4, because they're playing out in California. And I'm thinking that they're probably going to just cover mainly the back 9 for the top 6 or 8 groups. So
By the way, if any of you have prayer requests, I have paper and pen right here waiting. We'll be happy to add you too. And I have a prayer request. I have an implanted pin right here that my lower denture snaps onto. And we have discovered over the past couple of weeks that denture implant has abscessed, as my teeth used to do. And we're going to have to go in surgically and remove it. They have me on antibiotics right now to get rid of the abscess, but that surgery will be coming up. The dentist swears up and down I won't feel a thing. He'll deaden everything to the point where it's not a problem. And to be honest, again, I've had so many dental surgeries, I'm not sure it would bother me anyway. But I do ask that you pray for me for this surgery because I'm not sure I'm not looking forward to it. We'll put it that way. Dandy?
well, these implants have been a pain in the butt all along. When we started getting these back several years ago, they screwed them up, and she had to have them done twice again.
I've had 8 implants placed, and only one of the 8.
And that's
Now
just
that's best.
that's just outrageous to me.
Well,
So anywho,
I do have bone problems because of the cancer. I had to have chemo and radiation, and that kind of screwed up bones.
yeah, apparently they have to do bone grafts on it as part of this. They're not really replacing the implant. Kate has decided to just
I won't let them do
forego
that.
the implants. Let's get, I'll use sticky pads and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm wondering if we're even still on because nobody has posted since Celtic did.
Well, we
So
can,
everybody's either
refresh
being
and
real
see.
quiet or, well, either that or